Hey, you know what? I came up before you go any further, because this is your show, and far be it from me, as I've mentioned many times.
I appreciate
to
that.
disrupt that.
No.
But we talked yesterday on The Experience. I've seen more of the clips tweeted of Red Velvet trying to really do a suicide dive from last Friday night's AEW show, where she dove out of the ring and completely bypassed the bunny and landed on her head and folded herself up like an accordion. And we expressed our consternation that and I went back and looked, she was not on the ground 5 seconds. And I said this when we were talking about it, as a booker, I could not have constructed and asked any talent in the world to do this successfully without injuring themselves for a hospitalization angle. And it was a throwaway dive in a TV match that meant nothing, and she popped right up afterwards. And people said, well, she didn't know to sell it. But you have an innate sense, if you've ever been in the ring or done anything, when you've fucked something up or something is or whatever, you hear the people go, woo, sell it for a second and let it fucking marinate, right? But it is so, as I watched that and I realized she wasn't even down 5 seconds. Like I said, she popped up one thing to prove to herself she hadn't paralyzed herself. And also, there's the element, I've seen guys do this a million times. She knew she fucked it up, so she wanted to jump back up. And that way, if she jumps back up and if the people goes, ah, like she did, fires them up, it doesn't look like she fucked up in her mind to them. She was trying to erase the fuck up. But both of them, understandable, but I started thinking about that. Can you imagine, instead of just throwing that away, popping up and continuing on and going another 10 minutes on television, if she had been able to just sense to sell that for 20 seconds or 30 seconds to just lay there because the other girl wasn't in a rush to go anywhere, then I started thinking, what would I have done if I was at the gorilla position, if I was a producer, if I was on the headset, if I was on the referee's IFBs? All the referees are wired. They got an IFB in their ear. That's how you communicate. What would my reaction have been? Obviously, it'd have been, holy shit. And then, see, that's the thing. She didn't even stay down long enough for the referee to go over and do the thing that you see them do where they say, are you fucking all right? And or give the X sign, which is way overdone and been prostituted. But
is there... Well,
go ahead.
Is there any chance, again, I've never done a dive like that, so I don't know anything about how it feels.
Well, I never have either, but...
No, but you've been around a lot of it, and you've heard a lot of guys talk about it. Is there a chance that she did that, she knew she missed it, or didn't hit it right, but she may not realize the way it looked to everyone else, the way she landed? She may not realize what we saw. Is there a chance of that?
Only if these young people's minds are so gone that they are just assuming from the start that everybody is going to instantly hop on her if she fucked up or screwed up or she don't want to get the you fucked up chant or whatever. But you couldn't go that far, head first, onto the floor, crash, bend over backwards, not forward, not in the manner in which your body is intended, but in another fashion, and jump right back up 5 seconds later and not think, my God, that would have probably been a lot more impressive if I'd have laid there. I just can't, because she did. I don't know what was going through her mind. Point being, it doesn't always have to go through the talent's minds if they'd give anything room to breathe. Because that's what would my reaction have been as the producer or at the monitor when that happened? The first thing you do, if somebody, and you see the WWF referees do it quite often, after one of those dives, big bumps, especially if somebody slipped or landed on somebody, you see them go over, right? And it's a referee's job in a shoot to go over. Can you continue? Can you continue? Yes. But they're really doing that because then they give the signal to the back, because the producer is going, check on them, make sure they're okay, any problem, whatever the verbiage they use. And the referee communicates back, no, they can continue, or they fucking get in between and start slowing the thing down to determine what's going on. None of that happened here. I would have said, if she was laying there selling for 20 seconds, because I popped on the thing and I would say, this is a fucking chance. Just tell the referee, ring the bell, stop the match. She's hurt. She can't continue. Tell her to stay down. Boom. You've got the fucking button right there. Even in a smaller production, much less WWE and Ring of Honor, I could talk to the announcers. I could talk to the referee. I could talk to the ring announcer. And I could talk to, obviously, I was in the truck, so I could talk to the fucking producer and director. So you can communicate. Stay down. She's hurt. Stop the match. Ring the bell. And all the referees are wired and should be listening if they're not sitting around playing tickle taint. All referees to the ringside. All referees check on Red Velvet. Then you tell the match referee, tell the opponent, back up, don't attack. You've won. Hold her hand up. Tell her to look shocked. Then you're telling the fucking director what you want to take. They've got a doctor, right? Do they use the doctor that saved Lawler, Samson?
That is their doctor. I don't know if that's a doctor. If that's the doctor that saved Lawler, it's the same guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Send Dr. Sampson to ringside. Tell her we've got a neck injury. That's the way you need to treat it, Doc. Do everything you would do for a neck injury. Now all the other referees are out there. They're hearing this. And then you tell the ring announcer, tell the fans we're going to pause the show. We're going to pause the show to determine how bad this injury is. Please bear with us. Because when that announcement gets made, then the people they think, well, if this was TV, they wouldn't be saying that, because they don't. And you just have the doctor. And then they're in Daly's place, right? I could understand if they were in the fucking ice rink in Bell Vernon, Pennsylvania. They got to have EMTs. They have over 1,000 people there in a public amphitheater. They got to have EMTs or something. If they don't have it, you can't maybe stop down for an ambulance. Who knows how long that might take? But the point is, now you have Doc Sampson, who's a doctor who knows what's going on, but he can call for the EMTs because now he's telling them, hey, we've got a neck injury here, potential neck injury. Now you're telling your announcers, call what you see. It appears to be a neck injury. And then you ask your videotape, how many angles we got on that? Let's put them on the reel and replay them all. And you tell announcers, look for the replays and call them when you see them. By this time, the EMTs ought to be on the way down there. You're telling the referee to tell Doc Sampson, explain to them it's a potential neck injury. We got a backboard if we got a neck brace. They're going to treat this legitimately because they don't want to get sued if it really is. So they're not just going to fucking joke through this if they're real EMTs. Because a doctor's telling them to fucking do it. And then you tell the announcers, we're going to go to break. Tell the people we're going to go to break. This is a developing situation. We'll have an update on the other side. Because they still had another 10 minutes to go, right? So now instead of fucking useless fucking girls TV match fucking bullshit, you've got something going on. On the other side, hopefully by then they've got a collar on, or they've got the board there or whatever, and you use the rest of that segment. They get her up and they wheel her out, and they've already called an ambulance. And then later on in the show, we can shoot the ambulance taking her out the back. You've used up your time, but now you've got something. People are going to go crazy on social media. How is she? What is she? If she can refrain from fucking tweeting pictures of herself doing yoga and calisthenics the next morning, then you've got something. Now you can get this girl over. You leave her off TV for fucking 6 weeks, but every week you replay the dive. And you, after the first week or two and giving verbal updates, then you have video of her, maybe still with a collar on. And her story is, you take risks to entertain the fans, and we all try to be safe, but it's a dangerous occupation that we have. And it's my fault for missing that. I lost control of myself. I was in the moment with the crowd back. And I could have not only really badly injured myself, I could have really badly injured the bunny. And that wasn't fair for either one of us. And thank goodness it was myself instead of her. But I'll tell you what, I've sacrificed too much to get here to go out like that of my own fault, landed on my head. I'm going to come back in better shape than ever, right? And then the next week you show she's in physical therapy. She's doing her rehab, right? And you build up and you advertise the date that Red Velvet is finally going to come back to address the audience live. We don't know when she'll be cleared to wrestle again, but she's going to be here to thank all of you for your support. And the week before she comes back to television, think about this, Brian. You know how everybody's always shooting, because I thought of this day before yesterday. I thought you could do an angle like this. I just didn't apply anything to it. But all these videos you see on Twitter of people with the camera phone when the naked woman in Texas is breaking up the Outback, or the people are climbing over the fucking counter at McDonald's or whatever, right? And some bystander with a cell phone. Well, what about if the week before she's scheduled to be on television, some unknown person tweets a video? They're in a fucking Applebee's or a bar, whatever the fuck, right? And they're in like a booth and a half away from some people. And you can see the vid, and the audio is going to be shitty because there's all kinds of background noise, and this is not professional, but it's not supposed to be, as long as you can hear it, because I'll close that loophole in a second. What if somebody tweeted a video of these 3 drunk chicks in a fucking booth with about 8 or 10 margarita glasses empty on a table in front of them, and the tweet says, "Hey, this is that girl that plays the bunny on AEW. Listen to what she's talking about, some chick she dropped on her head." And the video is the bunny with 2 friends of hers, no wrestlers, just civilians. And she's caught. Fuck her. She was coming at me like a fucking missile. She would have broken my face. I stepped back just in time. Oops. It was the bitch's own fault. Better her than me. And that goes out on Twitter from some unknown person. And then some other fan picks up on it and says, wait, just in case you can't hear what she's saying, and they put the subtitles on it. And this is totally not affiliated with AEW. So then when Red Velvet comes out on Live Dynamite, she thanks the fans for all the support, and then she says, but I don't know if any of you saw, or most of you saw, or whatever, that apparently the bunny didn't feel the same way about this thing I did. They've got her on video now admitting that she fucking stepped back and let Red Velvet crash and burn. Then you could fucking do, then Bunny comes out and says, well, fuck you. You can't wrestle anymore anyway. Well, I can slap you in the fucking face. Pow! And she gets in, and here comes the fucking baker or the candlestick maker, and they fucking snatch Red Velvet off, and Bunny gets her with a fucking Rick Rude reverse neck breaker. Oh my God! And the doctor comes again, and oh shit, now book that on pay-per-view. Would that have been a little bit more entertaining than what we got, which was the girl almost killed herself and didn't sell it?
It would have been, but again, I don't think Red Velvet knew what to do in the moment. And I don't think anyone was there to make a quick call to do that. Also, your whole plan...
There's somebody is on the gorilla position. Somebody's at the monitor with the power to do anything, because I've seen it happen. Bruce has called audibles on WWF shows, on Raw. I've rung the bell on guys from the announce desk in OVW because they did something to blatantly cause a disqualification and let the referee saw it. So and the referee would look at me with a stunned look, and Dean, ring the bell, referee signaling for it. Things happen. Anyway, go ahead.
Over there, it's not the gorilla position, it's the Clyde position. Thank you, someone. Thank you. Thank you very much. But what I was going to say is your whole plan is reliant on the idea that the bunny could pull this off, acting genuine in a video that can't look in any way fake. It could not look like, one of those things that shows up on a wrestling show. It has to look like real fan footage. It has to be someone that identifies her, sits from a distance and records the conversation, and then she has to look realistic. That's a lot to ask.
Get her drunk first. Maybe that'll help. She's supposed to
get me drunk anyway. First. Get me drunk first. Maybe I'll like it.
Well, I'm sorry. I guess that is the loophole. I just assumed that anybody in the wrestling business would be able to pull off telling a fucking story.
Here's the other problem of your whole plan. You're building to a rematch of the Bunny versus Red Velvet.
Well, goddamn it, have a little bit more interest than the first time around, at least.
That's true. That's true. It was a good idea.
Good heavens.
It's a good idea. You can maybe get some sponsorship from Applebee's or whatever you say.
They'd be sitting under the Applebee sign. We're tweeting good in the neighborhood.
Hey, look, those AEW wrestlers are drinking White Claw. Let's listen to what they're saying. And then he gave me all this money, and he just said, I'll see you Wednesday.
But he meant Friday.